We have a lot to talk about in this video, including a bit of interesting backstory that you're going to need to hear first to get all of the context going on with this one. It's going to be a good time, though. I hope you're ready, and let's get into it. My anime list situation continues to proliferate. They continue to handle this situation so poorly, even after, for the record, I gave my anime list advice. In my report, I wrote right here, my anime list would be much better off enjoying the memes from this situation, thanking the new members on the site, and mutually promoting Nux and Noble, that last part I write, because they go out of their way to do everything they can not to name these people. And now my anime list is going after me too. It's absolutely absurd. I'll show you all that in a moment, but let me just say something else. This is such a routine thing, and it's so annoying for me because when I criticize the way companies perform, how they operate their business, I almost always give advice. And they always ignore that. Happens with Rooster Teeth, happens with Funimation, happens with my anime list now, and their associated communities. They ignore the part where I say, and I respectfully phrase it as well. I say, you might want to handle this a little differently. Here's how I would recommend doing it. Of course, put it into your words, basically. They ignore all that, and they just go insane. Before I show you what my anime list is saying about me now, let me clarify something as well. This whole situation with Mal, Nux, and Noble, and Ishizoku reviewers and Funimation, this whole thing, of course I would be reporting on it because it's anime news related. But I am invested in this situation for a little bit of a different reason as well. You see, I'm kind of returning a favor somewhat. Lost Pause stood up for me way back in June when Anime News Network decided to give me a copyright strike. And how did that go for them? Well, YouTube and Google sided with me on that one, so make of that what you will. Basically, what happened, though, if you weren't around the channel when this was all going on, I win the dispute. I make a post on Twitter thanking the people who helped me out with this whole situation and reported on it. And a big thanks to Nick Ricada for helping me dispute the claim. And on the tweet I make, just thanking people, someone from ANN, I forget who, it was probably this guy, but I don't remember. Someone from ANN tweets on my tweet, responds to it, which, by the way, you can see they have since deleted that. Can't imagine why. Basically saying that I'm lying and I didn't actually win and I dropped the dispute, which was absolutely, well, here's my response. You can just read this. Fake news. YouTube reinstated my video in accordance with DMCA. I deleted my video after it was reinstated so you would not try and possibly abuse the DMCA again. You just gave me the date the strike was issued on. Info I greatly needed matches the date of your CEO's tweet. Thanks. That last part I wasn't kidding about. That would have cost me money in discovery to get, and they willingly gave me this information publicly. They didn't think about that very much, did they? Just like they didn't seem to apparently think about it much when they gave me that copyright strike to begin with. Or even, I guess, when the CEO, I don't know if this guy is still a CEO, I don't really pay attention to what ANN does. I mean, who really does, right? Anyways, the CEO at the time, it wrote, I filed my first YouTube copyright claim today. Pretty sure the person I filed it against is going to make some noise about it. Can't wait. Except that didn't really age well for you, did it? But then, Noble. Thank you, Noble. I appreciate this so much, man. Very nice of you. Noble chimed in too and said, yeah, the claim system doesn't work like ANN says. Even if you delete the video, the strike remains. They are the only ones who would have to give up for the claim to be released and the video restored. The only other thing is YouTube's own intervention, which rarely happens. So now, hopefully you understand, if you didn't already, why I especially wanted to stand up for Nux and Noble in this situation. It's disgusting, the kind of stuff that my anime list has said about these guys. It really is, in my opinion. And I've been dealing with companies that I personally find, again, in my opinion, to be shady and corrupt in the anime industry for about a year. And I've seen multiple companies going after good people. And I just, man, I can't just let that slide. If I can say something about it, I gladly will. I think there's also a chance that Noble and or Nux watch my videos, or at least one of them, probably on the Mal situation, obviously, where I mentioned them. And that is extremely humbling. And the reason why I bring that up is because Noble made a video last night that had a lot of the same points that I found interesting about my anime list, including a screenshot that I used in my video on my NyanNet report. And I think it's the same one, not only because of the MS Paint circle, but the numbers match up, like the score, the rank, popularity, members, all that matches up from when I took that screenshot. So it's very likely that he either read my report or watched my video, or maybe both. So I don't know exactly what's going on there, but on the chance that Noble does tune into some of my videos, maybe this one thank you again for standing up for me, man, and thank you for tuning into some of the videos I make here. That's extremely humbling and great work that you do, too. Now, we have to talk about Nux Taku for a moment. You see, Nux also released a video, and he said this.
This guy, Hero Hey, took it to mean, alright, massive revolt against Funimation, which, well, wasn't exactly the purpose, as I've mentioned. It was purely for the sake of the memes.
So I'm taking back that Nux mentioned me. That is awesome. Thank you for that. And now let me clarify something. He is not a part of any massive revolt against Funimation. He's just memeing around. And for the record, I don't think I ever said anything about a massive revolt against Funimation. You see, I was actually also memeing. This whole thing is a meme. It's a vortex of memes. It is the meme Twilight Zone, and Twilight Zone has gone down the meme rabbit hole. So now that's cleared up too. But now, on the off chance that I'm not memeing anymore, hypothetically, if I actually am a part of some massive revolt against Funimation, well, you may have heard, first of all, of my infamous playlist, The Downfall of Rooster Teeth. A lot of people on Twitter screech about this playlist. A lot of the fanatics really despise this thing. It's infamous on Twitter, like I said. And I have now, this morning, gone and made a new playlist for Funimation titled No More Funny Business. So now we also got a Funimation playlist. Isn't that great? But this is just memes for me too. I'm not a part of any revolt against Funimation. Certainly not. So back to my anime list now. We've got some new stuff to go over, and also some areas where they talk about me, like I said. So let's start with this. Do you remember in the original report when Kaneda said basically the only rational people around were the ones that agreed with my anime list points? Yes, anyone who disagrees with them is not rational. If they fit the same mold, the same script, those are the rational people. Well, it seems that Shy Mander of my anime list, that's the social media guy, says, behold a rare specimen, a rational thinking person on the internet. Boy, we haven't seen that one before. Can't imagine what this forum post says. Why don't we read it? Before we read this, can I just point out that the screenshot was taken 1 minute ago? Which implies that Shy Mander saw this post and instantly screenshot it. He loved it so much, he had to screenshot it within a minute and post it on Twitter. Oh my gosh, man. Here's what it says. Not sure if this was mentioned, but it looks like Lost Paws made a response video to Mal hurting itself in response to his and Nux's latest videos. Essentially, he claims he just wanted to be friends with the website and help it, despite not reaching out to Mal and seeing if they even wanted this. He repeats multiple times how he and Nux were only asking for their fans to come and rate their favorite anime like the website is intended. He completely avoids the fact that they were both specifically asking fans to come here to rate IR 10 out of 10. He repeats several times how the Mal scores don't matter and never will matter in the public eye. Then why did he and Nux pick Mal to be the platform to boost IR to number 1 if the scores don't matter here? Certainly not for the memes. Certainly not. Would he still be saying if their campaign was victorious and IR reached number 1? He brushes off the user who made duplicate accounts as a few bad apples, even though he had no proof to back that up other than his general opinion, and the recent purge suggests otherwise. By the way, some people said IR did make number 1, so I don't even know if that's accurate. A lot of stuff's being misrepresented in this post. Let's continue on, though. Takes a page out of Hero Hay's book and accuses Mal of holding out money from its volunteers and should be using it to pay them. So this is actually a misrepresentation of what I said. I was simply asking a very reasonable question. If Mal is making so much money, which from my due diligence, it certainly looks like they're doing all right, then why is it that you have multiple staff members of Mal claiming that the volunteers are going to have to do, I quote, backbreaking work? That doesn't sound fair. I'm simply asking what's going on. No one gives me a straight answer. No one. What does that tell you about Mal? That they can't even answer a simple question. Continuing. Volunteers are capable of simply quitting. Oh, great response to your volunteers. Just quit. Man, real piece of work. Aren't forced to do anything they don't want to. And he doesn't even consider server costs. Oh, believe me, I have considered server costs. Y'all should still be profiting greatly. He says, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seems like Lost Paws is trying to distance the vote manipulation part of the story as much as possible. Paint this like he was giving friendly promotion to Mal, and that it's Mal's fault for shutting it down. Just like, hey, Lost believes Mal should be grateful for this unwanted raid, like they did us a favor. If the last few days have been any indicator, it was more hassle than it was worth. He and Nux even said on several occasions that this was for the memes. But now it's supposed to be an act of goodwill? Yeah, no. So that's what Shy Mander found to be a reasonable post. That nonsense. Now take a look at this. Shy Mander has a lot to say about me. Let's see what Shy Mander says in the Mal Forum safe space. Well, guess what? We still found it. Here's what he says. In regards to my video being posted on the Mal Forums, he says, OMG, I'm famous. But wow, the projection here is staggering. What projection? I'm not running a website that's probably making millions of dollars and not paying my volunteers, and all I'm doing is repeating what you told us. So how am I projecting something? He goes on to say, thanks for the YouTube link, though. Now I know where the flood of trolls on my Twitter account are getting their incorrect information from. So my information is incorrect. That's what you're claiming. And you have done nothing to actually prove that I'm incorrect when I've actually presented some evidence to go along with what I'm saying. What do you have? So far, nothing. He says, what shady business if he actually did proper research, implying that I didn't do proper research. He'd know that the site's been run by volunteers for years, and it's no secret. Lots of sites are run that way, including Wikipedia. You know, one of the biggest sites in the world. He's also missing the point. Paid or not, purposely causing grief to any staff anywhere is simply not on. No one was purposely causing grief. And you, again, dodge the question. You dodge the question. It's so simple. The question is simply if Mal is making as much money as is implied on their own page for advertisers, where it says that you have to have a minimum of $10,000 a month for one advertiser, let alone the fact that they probably have multiple advertisers. Again, it's reasonable to assume that Mal is making millions annually for reasons I went into in my prior video. If you haven't seen that, link in the description. But this guy says I'm wrong, and again, doesn't back it up with anything. And he further goes on to claim that I have cognitive dissonance. Says, thereby loading up on an extra shot of cognitive dissonance. Look what that was in response to as well, by the way. This other person says, the main thing in the video is basically a thinly veiled attempt at smearing Mal. Mal is volunteer mods, therefore bad. That is absolutely nowhere near what I said in my argument. Over 70,000 people saw my video and know what I said. That ain't it. And I never tried to smear Mal. All I did was, again, ask a very reasonable question based off the information that Mal's staff publicly put out there. And now you got these Mal staff members smearing me, implying that I don't do research, I don't know what I'm talking about, I have cognitive dissonance, and I'm trying to smear Mal. And you don't have any evidence to back any of this up because there is no evidence. It's a flat-out lie, all of it. There was this on Twitter, though. Someone on Twitter tweeted Shymander, again, the social media guy, my video. And his response was this. It's in the misunderstanding of how Mal operates and the misconstruing of advertising information. So I misunderstand how Mal operates. I misconstrue the very clear advertising information. But okay, sure. The use of volunteers is the same as Wikipedia and many other database sites. And no website runs for free, as nice as that would be. I never said Mal ran for free. As a matter of fact, it's literally the opposite. I know that they have expenses. I even said in my video, I was so nice, I even said, I understand that Mal probably has a combination of volunteers and paid staff. I simply, again, I'll reiterate it, I'm just asking a very simple question that you all seem to freak out about. If Mal is making as much money as it looks when you look at their advertising information and other things that I covered in my original report, then why is it, as you claim, Shymander, that the volunteers are having to deal with this massive issue and it's going to be backbreaking work? That's the question. That's the question. Are you going to answer it, or are you going to keep writing nonsense about me, Nux and Noble? What else is interesting is there is quite a lot of people interested in Mal's finances now and this whole volunteer thing. Some people have been sending me some interesting things. Might have a follow-up report coming out tomorrow or in the next few days. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know, man. Weird situation going on, perhaps. But again, I don't really know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I have shout-outs for the very kind people who promoted my last two videos. Thank you for your patience, by the way. I know on the last one I didn't give shout-outs, but this time I got you guys. We got Mark E., April C., Great Awakening, Chris V, On the Brain, RBN, Karst D. Ragan, Beast Chan, Dr. Madness, Bandito, Sir Wolf, Garrick L, I Don't Need Your Approval, Hacker47, Ryan J, Matt A, No One Important, Richard O, and The Lazy Slacker. Thank you all very much for tuning in. If you enjoy this content, you enjoy the work that I'm producing here and on the Endnet, consider subscribing to this channel, sharing your thoughts in the comments below, liking the video, sharing the video. All that stuff helps out. And if you want to take it a bit extra, consider becoming a channel member, unlock some cool emojis and a badge and that sort of thing, or become a patron on Patreon. All that stuff helps out greatly. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you next time.